For any of y'all who've been fishing and tying for a while, you probably know there is no easier fly to tie than a waltz worm. Well, I found one that is almost as close. I was flipping through Dave Hughes Nymphs for Streams and Stillwaters, and the first pattern he has in his fur nymph section is simply called the Midge Nymph. Now, he does give credit for the inspiration of this pattern to Ed Koch from his 1972 book, Fishin' the Midge, but Hughes does tie his a bit differently. He adds a little bit of weight and a wire rib. And there are really only two ways you can vary this pattern. That's change the color of the dubbing and then change the color of the wire rib. But with those two options, you can really imitate just about anything, from mayfly to caddis nymphs to scuds and even crustaceans. So as cheesy as this fly seems, if you don't have something like this in your box, maybe a couple different sizes and a couple different colors, you ought to consider devoting a row to this simple bug. So there it is in the vise, just a simple little midge nymph from one of Dave Hughes' books. Very simple pattern, but he swears by it. And the hook is just a generic curve shank hook. I think this is a 1 extra short. I can't tell if it's 1 extra strong or not. It's the Umpqua 201. It's one of my go-to kind of scud hooks. And I forgot to pinch that barb. Let's do this now before we get any material on it. Okay, I think we got it, but when you do that with these short hooks, make sure you didn't open that hook gap up. It's probably still fishable, but if you open it up a little bit, just try to pinch it back down. There we go, and I do want some weight on it. He recommends weight, the diameter of the hook. This one's a little thinner, but I didn't want to go to an 020. This is an 015. We're going to do about 5 wraps here. And we'll put it maybe 2 eye lengths back. There's not going to be anything going on in front of it other than the head. So I think we're going to be fine right there. I'll put a little dam behind this weight, take a few wraps over it, then take it to the back again and, cut it off where we're going to start our body back here. And actually, we want this body to be well around the bend of the hook. So let's reposition this a little bit and see if we can get it even farther back right here. So that's, we might go a little farther back than that. But before that, let's go ahead and bring our thread up here and then catch in our rib. And I'm going to oversize my rib just a little bit. I'm going with a brassy. The one you saw in the vise at the beginning was a copper colored, but I'm going to go with this green just to see if it will stand out a little bit more, because this natural squirrel I'm using is it's a little, a little light. Maybe this darker rib will give it a little more pop. We'll see. And I've kind of mangled this thread up a little bit, but I think we're going to be just fine. Let's take it right here and put a good bit of wax on it. Now here's that squirrel, and this is just 100% squirrel, no mixing with any acrylic, which a lot of my squirrel dubbing blends I will blend it with an acrylic. It does help it dub a little bit easier, but this one I want to go straight up natural with all the guard hairs and everything. And if it's a little fuzzy, that's okay. And if it gets a little unwieldy on you, I wouldn't worry about it because we can shape it with this rib. So after you get a couple wraps that are laying down some dubbing, you can just spin it a little tighter if you want. We're probably going to have to go with 2 applications. This is not going to get us all the way in front of that weight. Yep, we're going to need just a little bit more here. Okay, that's pretty decent looking body. I got the taper I want, and I'm going to counter wrap this rib. And here's the moment of truth. Is this dark green going to look a little bit better than that brass did, that copper did? You know what? I don't think it does. I think the copper actually looked a little bit better. But I think we're going to be just fine. Let's go ahead and finish this head. Just be careful that you don't close up that eye. I'm going to try to push everything back right here and then ramp it back up and make a nice little nymph head. So there we go. Midge Nymph from Dave Hughes, Nymphs for Streams and Stillwaters. Very simple tie, but you know, I can see this being an effective pattern. Maybe a little cleanup if you want, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna put it in my box just like this. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.